Okay, it's kind of Christmas time, so if you want to be drawing for a Christmas card or something like that, draw a line kind of across. I don't know if that's 45 degrees or more, probably a bit more. Make it go up around like that, and then that will kind of hook at this end here. And here we're going to want the head, and I think the beak is probably going to go about there, pretty much a triangle, and maybe don't want it quite so big, and then we'll do something like that, and then we're going to have nice big eyes, and then he's got a hat on as well, so that's the what do you call it, the brim kind of things. It's a, you know, a woolly hat thing, you know what I mean, beanie woolly hatty thing, and a great big scarf coming around there, and that will then kind of come something like that, and then he's going to be balancing with his flippers like that. Maybe that's not quite so wide, there, and then he's going to have his kind of tumminess like that, and then we want to have his legs going at an angle, so he's kind of really leaning forward on his toes like that, and then his other leg is going to be kind of paddling away in the distance, you know, behind him. Trailing is probably the word I'm looking for, and he's probably going in that kind of direction. So I think I'm going to do his eyes first, just to get the character kind of set. And the eyeballs are a kind of a chunky letter C, or a blob with a little bite taken out of it. And then that means I can kind of work out where this beak is going to fit in. And we give him a little smile, and that will come down there. And then I think we're going to want to have kind of a tongue coming in there, just as a little bit of waheiness. It just adds a little extra to the character somehow. And then we can have the scarf going around there, and then that would be the head, and that's the brim of the hat. And then what I'm going to do is, this is kind of like the ribbing and the knitting, and as it gets near the edge I'm going to do these closer together. So it's kind of wide apart, wide apart, wide apart, and then they start getting closer and closer and closer together to give a kind of feeling of rotating around like that. And I'm going to do some hint of kind of knitting ribs in here as well, like that. And then he's going to have a little pom-pom on the top. And then the scarf will come around something like that, and maybe tucked in underneath, and then there'll be those little tassel-y things on the end, and I think we'll probably make this kind of striped, something like that. Then we can put his little flipper in there, and his little tail in there, and then we can join that up like that. This is going to be his white tummy. It's going to be kind of black around the edges, isn't he? So that'll be a bit like that. And maybe we'll see a bit of that kind of tummy circliness there as well. Now I'm going not quite so far out on that. There, good. And then his feet will be something like that, and like I said, we want these to be kind of trailing behind him. I can maybe put some little dots in the pom-pom to give it a bit of... Okay, when you are absolutely sure that it is dry, that the ink is dry, erase those pencil lines. I think I'm going to put some kind of bit of shadow there and just make it go a bit squiggly like that. I'm going to put a bit more around there actually, I think. And I'm going to have some sort of hint of the edge of the pond or whatever it is. Well, I think for a start it's probably got little rosy cheeks like that, and that's a bit too rosy, so I'm just going to kind of wash those little cheeks in there like that. And I want him to have a nice yellow beak, so I'm just going to keep adding Bit more yellow in on that. And I'm going to add a little bit of touch of vermilion just to orange that up a little bit. And his tongue should be quite pinky really. But we can have the eyes quite yellow as well. But I'm going to add a little bit of sepia over the top, just to kind of make them a bit more liquid. Give him a nice red hat. It's not red enough. So I'm adding more red in chosen places. And I'm going to have the scarf being red and white. But it's not entirely red and white. I want a bit of hint of blueness in there. So I'll make that the same colour there, which means that this can be red. And this can be red. I'm going to put this up for sale. You can go up here and click to find if it's still for sale. Of course, it might have been sold many years ago, depending on how many years' time you're watching this video. That's the weird thing about YouTube, is the videos have a long, long life. I'm adding a bit of darker red just to kind of add a bit of life to it there. And actually I'm going to add a little bit of creaminess to this face disc here, just to warm it up a little bit like that. Which means I'm also going to add a little bit of creamy kind of, it's actually called Naples Yellow. Excuse me, I'll just hit my light. It's Naples Yellow, but it's a kind of creamy, warm creamy kind of colour. Now I'm going to give him yellow feet. And again, I'm adding a little bits of vermilion in with this, just tiny little hints to give it. Oh, that's more than a tiny hint, that is. Just to give it kind of a bit of 3D-ness and just to warm it up slightly as well. Bit of the scarf out, so what I want is to have scarf waving in the background as well. And I want this to be kind of bluish on that side there, so that then I can paint this. Oh, I'm getting emails. 2 emails in fast succession like that tell me that somebody has just bought my ebook, Everyone Can Draw. And if you want to support this channel, you can go and buy my ebook. It's only £1.99 in sterling, which isn't a lot, and you can learn an awful lot from that book. Or you can also get it as a paper copy, and I will sign it for you, and maybe even send you a poster as well. Just click this link. Now this colour I'm using here is called Neutral Tint, and I use this instead of black. I really don't like using black watercolour. It's just too dirty, and Neutral Tint has got this kind of, it's more of a blue black, and it's just a little bit more forgiving. And I always find if you use black in watercolour, it just, I don't know, it just kind of dirties everything else up somehow, and it's very hard to come back from it, you know, whereas sometimes with, you know, if you put too much neutral tint on, you can kind of take it off again by sort of thinning it down with water. But if you use black, it's just makes everything go a bit dirty, really. And neutral tint is really good for kind of shadows and things, so I'm going to put a bit in there and a little bit kind of under like that, and maybe around the back there, and on the side of the scarf, and maybe a little bit under the tumminess there, and like that. And you can even put a little bit of shade under there. Neutral tint is really good for that. And now we want some kind of blue, don't we, for the kind of ice. You can be quite splashy here, just enjoy splashing a bit of paint around. You might want some kind of whooshy lines. Something tells me it would just be a bit more interesting if I just put a little bit of green in there and just kind of maybe kind of flicked it up a bit. So it's kind of grass or something in the background. It's just to make it a little bit more interesting and to add another colour in there. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you're still in the Christmassy mood, go and learn how to draw a gingerbread house, or have a go with the mystery drawing. Either way, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, just click, and why not go and get my ebook, Everyone Can Draw, because everybody can draw, you just need a little bit of help from me. And in the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.